Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good night to you all. Hope you've all had a lovely day, whatever it is that you've done with it. I've mostly spent it playing Minecraft, but I consider that to be a lovely day. So I guess first things first, off the bat, I don't mean to horror that. This is the only picture I have that will demonstrate what's happening, is that I have two monitors now. I have my little laptop, which I'm still using the laptop to actually write on just because I have a keyboard there. And then now I have a big, beautiful second monitor that now has chat on it. That's why I'm looking this direction now, because the chat's all the way over there. It is all the way to the far right. Like, good lord. But I have two monitors now, which is cool as hell. And so now I don't have to use my phone. I can just use the computer. It's great. So like, you know, this is rules. I'm excited about having two monitors. Because I basically never had two monitors before. Stop hovering over that. And then, in terms of WorldEmber shenanigans, if memory serves, which it never does, on the last stream I was working on some Borgin, and then got like hung up on some bullshit. That's just how it is. I think I might have actually, I got a lot of it done, but then I didn't finish it on the stream, unfortunately, because I was dealing with stuff. Well, not because I was dealing with stuff, just because I was lazy. And so then after the stream, I went and finished it. I put its map here, which is a change to how I used to do it. I used to put the maps in the top right, sort of like how Wikipedia does it. But the issue is the top right is where the flag goes if you actually fill in the flag field in an organization template. And I wanted to have that filled in because then it actually like shows up in like diplomacy webs and shit. And then it just looks kind of weird. So I've put the flag in the map. Put the map in the structure section. I made a flag. I made two versions of the flag because I thought that since it had a union, it should probably have had variants of its flag, kind of similar to how like the UK has changed their flag over time to deal with the fact that, like, you know, you have St. George's Cross, the red on white, which is the English flag, and then you put in the blue and white saltire. Is that St. George's? I'm not gonna name anything. And then, like, you put in the red saltire bit for part of Ireland. And so I made a variant of the flag that was in a similar vein, where they basically just changed the color scheme, because I didn't want to have to deal with that shit. And also, I had designed the flags at this point, but the issue was that I don't think they were going to match up like that. I'd have to check. Because I've already forgotten what they look like, because I've made a lot of flags. There's a rainbow toast. Rah! There's the angry toast. Nah, they weren't really gonna merge up in a nice way in the way that, like, the Union Jack does. Not that the Union Jack looks good. The Union Jack looks like shit. But that's just my opinion. That's just because we have to have it on our flag, and it looks gross, a canton. But yeah, so I finished up Sam Borgin. Then I wrote about Biva Miazdiku. Biva Miazdiku it's a city carved into a mountain. I think it's pretty neat. You know, you can only really get there by painful staircase or by dragon taxi. Dragon taxi's neat. And then I wrote about a war, and that was the last 2 days. Yeah, it does look good as its own flag. Like, on its own, the Union Jack looks fine. It looks fine. Like, I can think of many flags that I think look nicer than the Union Jack, but I can also think of ones that look worse or are more boring. So, you know, it's a good flag. The fact that the red stripes don't line up, I know that's deliberate. Doesn't mean I have to like it. It looks fine on its own. It's just that when you make it the canton of another flag, it looks like shit. It just is awful. Admittedly, that might just be because pretty much every flag with the Union Jack in its canton just kind of looks like shit. Because they all look the same. Because we're boring. And we refuse to just have a cool flag. As a nation, we've just decided that, nah, having a cool flag is for losers. So, you know, we deal with that as Australians. And then, you know, I wrote about a war for 2 days, which was a pain in the butt, and I don't think it's a great article, but it's, I like writing about funky war shit, so I wrote about funky war shit. I even did a map of the shenanigans, specifically, like, these are the two main powers, Jailba and Nimuji. And this is them at the start of the war. This is them in the middle of the war, when things have gone very, very poorly. And then this is them post-war, where they've just kind of, they've sorted it out. You can kind of see, because I kept the actual borders in. You can see that they definitely got a bit back, but not very much. Because I needed to explain why their border is like that. Why they have this coastal panhandle, and it's like, it's because of war. And I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Why did most of these borders like this? It's war, baby. It just be like that. A war packed with countries whose names are impronounceable. Just the way I like it. Except for Abiyaden. Abiyaden can be pronounced. That is a pronounceable name. God bless South Abiyaden. Good God. Ah, jeez. So yeah, that was the last 2 days, and I mean, they have flags now, which is neat. Well, I mean, these two countries have flags. I gave Jailba and Nimuji flags. I think in terms of this list of just 7 countries listed here, only 2 of them don't have flags, which is Schön, Urugla, and South Abiyaden. But that's just because I don't want to have to deal with South Abiyaden right now. That is not my problem. Oh, geez, no. Well, what? Listen. I'm not finishing the song, I'm being rude. I'm blocking you from having a completed song. I'm blocking it from being satisfying. I know what the line is. I know what the line is. I know. I don't know. Say it again? Yeah, I thought it was say it again. Blah, 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 blah. I don't actually know that song very well. I mean, who does? Basically, everyone basically only knows the, that part. That's it. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know in that song. So yeah, that's my progress. I have, no, I don't know my Vietnam War protest songs. I was born at the tail end of the 90s. And by tail end, I mean like the tip of the tail end. I don't know shit about no shenanigans. And we also didn't study Vietnam in high school. Well, okay, that's a lie. We did, well, oh shit. Fuck, I have no excuse. We did study Vietnam in high school. I forgot. Oh no. I forgot we studied Vietnam. I'm a fraud. I'm a fraud. Oh no. I'm devastated. I'm a fool. Anyway. Listen, okay, I studied Vietnam when I was in like year 8. And I was busy dealing with shit. Which was basically code for I was being a just hideous teen. And just not doing anything. But yeah, so the plan for today is I rolled the dice on my pledge article. The pledge article is the one that I made for WorldEmber homework, and it's almost entirely just a list of tables. Like these rollable tables are just lists of articles that I would like to do at some point. And you can tell that, like, I'm not gonna get to pretty much most of these. But, like, you know, there's a lot of options there if I don't have any ideas. Like, for instance, the War of Yin Dab Cape, the war, what's it good for? that is not on these tables. It technically is, because there is a war, take your pick of wars section for just, hey, there's like 50 goddamn wars in this setting. Go ham. But I didn't pick it because of that. I picked it because there was an advent calendar prompt from like the 3rd of December about an unfair or unprovoked conflict. And I just kind of ran with that. Because I was like, that'd be interesting. And then it helps me flesh out the whole like south coast, basically. But I rolled the dice. Because I roll a d10 to pick a table, and then I hit the roly-poly. And eventually it gave me Beati's Heart, which is what I will be working on at least initially today. For the start. If I get bored, maybe we'll switch to something else, but like, for the minute, that's the plan. And what Beati's Heart is, I'm not supposed to dashboard. What Beati's Heart is it's literally just the crystal at the center of the region. This is in a different setting to all the other stuff that I've worked on mostly. Like in terms of this, all the articles that I've done, these 2 articles here, the Yser and the Lisha de Luarach articles, are from a different setting, which is Yutramoch, which is a futuristic magic setting, I guess? It's just a little bit more far in the future where you got like teleporters and shit. It's great. And so that's what Beati's Heart's in the setting of. It is part of that setting of Yutramoch, where there's a big crystal at the center of this region, and that's the source of pretty much all magic in the area, and there are conflicts fought over it because no shit, of course there are. I'm not writing about those yet, but that's what the vibe is. Now I have to actually grab the CSS for it, which is this one, so that I can make it look correct, so it doesn't blind my tiny eyes. Owie owie. Owie owie. Yeah. I still need to actually get that uploaded, because my CSS is mostly finished. I think I'm waiting for- oh, it didn't go yet. You can do it, buddy. What? Oh, because I haven't given it its silly Billy. I didn't give it the class yet, and bam! There it goes. So now it has its funky stuff. Now it looks fancy, and now it's, you know, safe from my dark mode only eyes. Oh, my tiny eyeballs. Because now that I have 2 screens, I have to be more careful of that, because if I put something that's like white on the big screen, it will blind me. This is still on the little screen, but still. Especially because I can see myself twice, because of how I set up Streamlabs, I can see myself 2 times. And so it was just like, white chunk, white screen. There's just a whole lot of eyeballs. So yeah, that's what we're working on. I don't think this will be a long article, just because there's not a whole lot I can really say about it. Because it is kind of, it's difficult to delineate, the way that I've set it up at least, to sort of delineate between the crystal itself and the area around it. Because I think, because this is a landmark template, which is technically used for buildings, but I've used it for the crystal because it is a landmark. Like, that is what it is. It is a landmark. And so, you know, I have to try and, like, if I keep it as constrained as I can to just the crystal, there's not a whole lot to really say about it besides it's big, it's a crystal, it creates magic, it's very shiny, it levitates, it's the heart of a god. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to explain that, especially when, you know, your brain kicks in and you go, oh, this diamond here is the crystal, isn't it? And at least, like, symbolically, that is what the diamond is in, you know, on the category cover, because this is in a world with a lot of other regions in it. So all the Yutramoch articles, well, most of them, have this cover with the shiny diamond on it. And then, of course, all the headers have the shiny diamonds in them. Because, of course, they do. Hell yeah, boy. So, you know. When you figure that out, you don't have to explain a lot. And thank you for the follow, Bigfoot Bjornson. Welcome. Welcome. World building will happen. I promise. It will definitely occur. I need to stop looking over there because I'm doing like the zoom thing where you like, you know, you're in a Zoom call and you only look at your own face. That's what I'm doing now that I can actually see my own face. I need to stop looking at it. Now that I have Streamlabs up on a different monitor, I'm like, hello, it's me. Hi. I probably sounded awful, sorry. Okay. Oop. So let's pop in here. Send my notes down to the bottom. So like, in terms of the notes, because I always like put like a sentence or two of notes in my articles before I, like when I make them, I put notes in them so that I can remember what the hell their deal is. All I had was big crystal, center of Uthermal. It's literally the heart of the god. It's the source of all magic. And then I extrapolated a little bit by saying it floats above a lake. It powers a lot of stuff throughout the region. There are big towers around it that absorb energy from it. There's chunks of crystal that float in the lake, etc. Very cool. And then Naunat has control over it. Naunat being a country. I don't know a lot about the country yet. I haven't got that far. But I know that it's called Naunat, and it exists in the central region and has control over that area. I should probably pull up the map. Where would the map be? I mean, oh god. Oh boy, here we go. Here we go. It's in here somewhere. There it is. Let me in, buddy. Yeah, boy. I need to rename this at some point. So yeah, like this is the region we're working in. This is just like one island. I'll be honest, I don't know how big that is. Like I don't know how big 1,000 Mile is. It doesn't really matter. But the general gist is that this area here, like ringed by these mountains here and around this big mountain here, this is Glautora Valley. And Glautora Valley is basically like, it's literally the center of the continent, and it's where, you know, the Dunkria live, which is the, like, very specifically kind of religious peoples. And they have their country, and Naunat is in here somewhere. I don't know where its borders end up, but it controls the entire valley and then a little bit else. And then there's Isachir. Isachir is a different country, and it controls, like, the northeast coast. So I had to mentally remember east-west. It controls the northeast coast. And there's possibly other countries, but those are the two that I've named and have a vague idea of already. That they're just kind of in here and such. Their borders like would follow the tips of the mountain just because it's easier that way. Now, which mountain is the tall one? Depends on the question. And then this is the mountain that the thing is in. So this is where the actual crystal is, right here. And this is actually a lake, which is something I need to add to it. But of course, I don't want to do too much art stuff in December because I'm technically ahead of my goal because I want to have 25k by the end of December. And on the site, it says my word count is like 15,500. And that is ahead of where I need to be if you write 800 words a day. The issue with that is that it's counting a lot of BB code, like an ungodly amount of BB code. So once you strip out the BB code from all the articles, I'm like 1,000 or 2,000 words underneath where you're supposed to be, which isn't great. Plus, you know, Christmas. And I'm probably, oh, Jesus Christ, I'm probably not going to get a whole lot done on Christmas Day, just because it's going to be a very, very busy day. So, oops. Gotta hoof it. So I can't do a whole lot of art. And I've been in touch with a lot of flags, because I love flags too much. So I'm forbidden from doing any more flags. If you hear me talking about flags on Twitter, yell at me. I'm not allowed to do any more flags. I've done enough flags. Just, if the country doesn't have a flag, you can't write about that country. Go away. Write about something else. There's like 20 countries that have flags that you haven't talked about. Just write about those. You know? That's the vibe. That's the general gist of what I need to do with my time at the moment. So, okay. I was open with a quote, but I don't have a quote about this yet. So we'll just leave that. So then, Beauty's heart is an enormous crystal which floats at the center of... Oh no, I need to use the category link if I want to have it linked in, which I do. That one. I think that's neat. I haven't used it a bunch, but I should use the category link more. That said, that counts for how many words? 1 word, really? I find that hard to believe. Ah, there it goes. See, that's the issue, isn't it? Like, I don't know if you probably can't see it very well because it's quite small. If when I take this out, I have 116 words, right? When I put that back in, it's 129. And only one of those actually shows up on the front end. So, oops. So that's part of what I mean about, like, BB code and stuff. Because every time, the, like, reader hits a... hits one of them babies, one of those hyphen puppies, it thinks it's a new word. It thinks it's a new word. And so it's counting just an ungodly amount of words here. It's going like category, FO, and then 812, and then 411, and then 89, and then 09, and then category. And then it's probably getting confused about the letters and numbers. It's probably tripping on something. It's probably tripping on like these. It's tripping a little. And so it does not count accurately, so to speak. Which is frustrating. And not something that they can really do anything about because it's part of just how words are counted by word processing. But it is very, very frustrating because I would like to get 25k and I don't want to not get it because of a technicality. You know, which is annoying because I don't really have the time to get the amount of words that I want because I spent the first half of the month NaNoWriMoing. I've given up on that, by the way. Not that I want to give up on the story, I've just given up on actually continuing to write it for now. I plan to get back to it in January. Because writing that extra 500 a day was killing me. Okay, so... There is an enormous crystal which floats at the center of Outre-Mort. In the midst of the region. Hello Kashtan. How are you? Hope your day has been good. And you've got many world buildings. World is buildings. Midst of the region. This crystal is the heart of the titular. And that's tagged up by Artie because it doesn't tag Bear. By Artie. Powerful Earth. No world building yet? Oh, okay. Well, you still got time in the day, right? Plenty of time to world build. Hopefully, of course. If there's not, that's just how it is. To have said to whose body is said to form the land around the crystal. Yeah. I don't know how to write buildings and landmarks. What are the different things in here? I can't give any dates. You've already reached 10k a few days ago, so no pressure. Fair enough, yeah, if you've hit your goal, it's a matter of mostly just, like, writing because you want to, which is nice. It's good to have hit your goal and then, you know, be a bit, can chill out. I can't chill out yet because my goal is 25k. So I have to just kind of keep going because I haven't hit that yet. I'm 10k out. I'm at 10k. It's closer to like 15 because of BB code stuff. Purpose, alterations, architecture, history, tourism. Oh boy, this is gonna be a weird one. So H1, history. History. Have I been using pictures in the sidebars for these ones? I don't actually remember if I have. No, I haven't been. I haven't been doing pictures just because I don't want to spam the thing. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, I haven't done that either. Probably should actually make those fancy. The rest of it's good though. I can't touch CSS until January. I'm just not allowed to. I do like having the quotes in the sidebar though. That's a good thing to do. I might do more of that in the future. Yeah. Orientation is now not. Okay, history. For most of, well, I guess it's for most of history, the heart has been in the body. That's what a heart is supposed to do. That's the issue here. Oh, it's definitely a rabbit hole for me. I'll get stuck in there. And part of the thing is I don't want to do any more CSS in December just because I need to do writing, but also because Project Chronos is going to come out, presumably in like January or February, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do timeline CSS until it's out, in case things change. Because I had this issue with the because Demi added the like icons to timeline entries that show like an organization's flag or a person's portrait if they are a related org or character. And I want to do some CSS on those icons, but I don't want to touch it until Project Chronos is actually out. And so I'm just not using them currently because I don't want them to look kind of ugly. Not that they're ugly, they have some problems that I want to try and work out. For me personally, because of like flag shit. The flags don't show great. And that's the issue, is that if I try and figure out how to make the flag show properly, it'll take me like a full day to do, and I need to do writing. So it is definitely a rabbit hole I will fall in very deeply. For most of... Originally, this large crystal was in the body of Bayati and served to power them and their magic. Actually, I'm just gonna put that. Original fish from the body of Bayati and served to power them and their magic, which they use to create the Duanum. The Duanum are the people of the region, like the actual species. Create the Duanum and the land they lived on. Most crucially, their magic. Well, should I link to the magic? I guess I should link to the magic. Which I don't remember what I called it. That's what it's called. Their magic. Yeehaw. Crucially, their magic. Defend the Duanum from the... When I say Sky God, or would I just say, like... I don't know how I would word that. How have I worded it? They're a... Death, fire, light, sun god. A god of many things. I need to actually put that in there. I need to actually link Nisad in the Bayati article. The Vengeful Sun. And the sun, deity, Nisad. And cast fire down to destroy everything. After many... Actually, how would I say? Many ages of struggle between the two, the Ari decided to take drastic action, gathering the Duanum to them. They removed the glowing crystal from their chest and gave it to the people, entrusting them to use its power to defend themselves. With this crystal, Isser was defeated, and would you say humanity? I can't say duanamity because that doesn't work. Duanamity. When you say it was defeated. And prevented from hurting the Duanum for many ages. However, this act also wounded Bayari, whose collapsed body formed Ythramoth. The Duanum entrusted with the crystal tried to return it to the Earth God by placing it in the center of... Did I name it? A vast caldera. I have never named the caldera, really? You're joking. How... Bruh. But like, it's the central thing in the region. What? You named the valley around it, not the actual mountain? God, what? Really? Really? Nah, I haven't named it. No, I already named it and then lost it to the mist of time. Hiss. Alright then. Open the Google Translate. Because I don't know the word for mountain. Like... Skyline? Fine? Maybe? I'm not supposed to be doing naming, but I like to name a thing. Because N is just... it doesn't make a huge difference. A is... Well, it's stress. It has to be stress. So it's Ain. Okay, so it's Bane. Bane. It's literally pronounced Bane. That is how that word is pronounced. It is pronounced Bane. Oh, I love it. Okay, well, you can call it Bane something. It would be Bane something, which is fine. I can call it Bane something. Just a Bane flaw. It can't be Crystal, because Crystal is just crystal. But, like, funky. And then magic is basically just magic, isn't it? Like, it doesn't have a fancy name for that. Oh, it's called something. Oh boy. Drochich? 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 Drach. No, because the duh doesn't do anything. Oh my god. This is why I don't like Scottish Gaelic. I can't read it. They call it like Bane something, basically. Where's my notebook? I keep notes of these things. Oh, it's in here. Thanks. I have a bunch of words already. Okay. Well, probably not Kriya again. It could be Heart Mountain, but... probably shouldn't be. It could... Hole? Is top? It'll be Baintoll. I mean, you could call it Baintoll, I guess. Especially if you spell it like that. So like Beintoll. Baintoll. Or maybe just one L, just because it looks a little bit weird. It looks like the word toll, like a tollway, a toll booth. Like Baintoll. Baintoll Mountain. Yes, that does mean it is mountain, whole mountain. But like, shenanigans. I mean, Glautora Valley is the word for glen. Well, it's a valley, it's Glown. And then, I don't know what Torak is. Torak was like, fertile. So like, it's Glautora Valley, it's valley, fertile valley. So I can call it Baintoll Mountain. It's fine. I don't have any qualms with that. I'm cool with, I don't remember what they're called. Tautological. I'm okay with tautological names. That's fine with me. Stook. 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 It's just Stook. I assume. Stook. Stook. It's not a peak is the thing. There's no point in that. You might as well just call it Baintoll. And be like, there you go. Baintoll. We'll call it that. I can always change it later. Ideally after we are allowed to edit names again. Baintoll sounds like something though. I'm not gonna like that, am I? No, I can't call it Baintoll. Clear. 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 That's used in Creo already. You can call it Bencreo. Call it Borach? Borach? Right, it's Borach. Borach. Ben Borach. Borach Ben. There isn't even an ach, it's just a K. Borach Ben. There's a lot of random notes in here. Palav, Pontalov, Love, Docha, Skal. It's a whole lot of mess on these notes. This is just the naming page where I've just got a bunch of like, just a whole lot of stuff. Tuan. Rifles. An island siege. For people? Sure. Maybe a different word. No. Mountain of what? It's not lake, it's loch. I know what loch is. I know river is Inver. That's why it's Inverness. It's the city on the Ness River. That's more for a river, and this is not a river, it's a lake with a hole in it. But it didn't used to be a lake is the thing. It used to just be a big hole. It's a very deep lake. It is just a big hole. And so it being whole kind of makes sense. Like that just makes sense. Just a gaping chasm. The word for chasm? You don't have a word for chasm. The word for cavern. Wav. No, I already have a wav. I could use a wav, but it's not really a cave, just a hole. The word for ravine? No. Piss. Ah, we're up. How'd I end up there? I ended up there. Oh god. Alright, quickly. Scar? How do you have a word for scar? Come on. Do you just call it that? Bruh. What are you doing? What are you doing? Shit. Come on. You can't just do that to me. Hold Benskar. Benskar. No. God. God damn it. I like this. I guess I could just do the thing where I just Utramoch. Caldera Mountain. Whoa. Oh, I need the template. That is a geographic template. And that is the big mountain. Big mountain. Center of Utramoch. And has the big crystal above it. So let's create the article and then we'll, you know, deal with it later. We'll name it later. Not calendar, caldera. And I described it as a chasm or a hole. Center of a vast caldera. It is big. It's a big boy. It's a big, big hole. Ha 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 ha. That marked where it had been removed. It has remained there to this day. Floating just above the surface of a rainwater lake, which has slowly filled the hole. Dude, soup. I mean, like, if you tear a heart out of your chest and then your hole fills with water, I'm pretty sure you're dead. But this is gods we're talking about, so who knows? I'm doing some real whack shit. Oh, floating idly. Purpose. Bayari's heart continues to power all forms of magic throughout Utramoch. A magic which is commonly believed to be more potent or accessible the closer you get to the heart. As a result, many wars and conflicts have been fought over control of the giant crystal, and it is currently under the control of the, I don't know what type of country that is. Under control of the Nownad, but it's just Nownad. But I don't know what type of country that is. Of Nownad. And nominally under the religious authority of the Church of something. Which church is it? Blessed Heart. Hell yeah, buddy. This is why you make a bunch of stumps. You'll fill out eventually. Hey, FMG! Or FMD, I guess. The writing is going actually decently well. This is not going to be a super long article, and I'm just trying to do a couple of decently small ones to try and just fill it out. And I'm writing about a big crystal, which is fun. And then stream! Welcome, Dazzly Cat! Showing off all of your fancy emotes. You've Christmasified a bunch of everyone's emotes. Yay! Oh, that's great. Okay, cool. Because I remembered, like, I was in somebody's stream at some point when you were there, and they said FMG. So I got confused. FMG, yeah. Yay for backstory. Technically, this isn't new content. Well, it is. Okay, so it is new content. I'm not breaking the rules in any capacity. But I have talked about the history of this crystal a lot. because it's a major player in the setting, so I'm just like, it's fine, it's good. So I already knew pretty much all of this already. It's just a matter of wording it in a way that's like specifically about the crystal. Oh yeah, honestly, that's completely fair. That is completely fair. I'm not breaking no. I'm not breaking any rules. No, 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 no. Because there will be new content, like full on new content in this article. Because I'll write about like some stuff relating to it. It'll be fancy. And we have an article showcase. Okay, so I think that's actually where the history ends here. So this is actually a good time to do it. So I'm gonna put a header here. I don't know what the header will be yet, but we'll put a header here. And we will read this article showcase, which I now need to pull up. Excellent. I never know which monitor it's gonna go to, I'll be honest. Having two monitors is not something I'm used to yet. Okay, so this is Dazzlycat's article about nistling, which is a type of species. Ooh, okay. Okay. Fonts. Oh, my eyeballs. Oh, I can read that, but it's a little teensy. Just because of how it's like, you know, fancy. And oh, I turned off the accessibility mode too, so I can actually turn that on. That's fine. I can read it. I can read most of it. Okay. This is the quote at the start of the article. The men glared down at their friends. 3 of them were snoring as 1 or 2 small quarrels stuck out of their bodies. The 4th man lay unmoving and still, his open eyes as dead as the rest of him. 6 of the little quarrels were stuck in his body. All their belts, sheaths, belt purses, and packs were gone, while their weapons were left on the ground where they had fallen from their hands. The dead man had his midriff nearly cut open, and his liver was missing. Jesus Christ. Why are they stealing livers? Good lord. Well, at least they didn't steal their livers, one of the men said to his 2 companions as he pointed to the 3 sleeping men. Saw us coming, a second man said. Now shut your trap and get to carrying them back to camp before... Now shut your trap and get to carrying them back to camp before them nistlings come back with more to take our livers. I can't slang, I'm sorry. They pulled out all the little quarrels before each man grabbed one of their fallen friends. They hauled them back to the camp, which had nets stretched over it. Leafy branches had been spread over the nets to hide it from the sky attacks. Captain 4 had insisted on bringing the nets, and then using them over their camps every day of the expedition. This was the first day her men truly appreciated them. That's rough, buddy. And then there's an excerpt from The Hunt for Golden Jelly, copied into Garzio Indar, People's Page 19. I like the extra bits of detail that makes it like it's from like an actual book. I like that. So, Nistlings believe their kind was created by the mysterious dragon god Mordoon. How Mordoon created them is as much of a mystery as is what kind and colour of dragon Mordoon is. They believe Mordoon gave them their wings as well as their tails, which they take great pride in. Tail bands and such are the height of fashion amongst nestlings, who have little use for clothes other than for warmth if they find themselves in cold places. They do wear belts and harnesses to carry their tools and pouches. The night is their day, as their eyes are adapted to the darkness. Okay. The nestlings believe Mordoon taught them their tribal way of life and methods for them to stand as equals in a world filled with bigger folk. Nestlings love to craft traps and set them throughout their tribal lands and within their lairs, to not only catch prey, but to keep out invaders. Bows sized for a nestling are not well suited against the bigger folk, so they make crossbows instead. Even then, their darts are small, but Mordoon taught them the art of poison. Ooh. Mordoon's secret is their most sacred law. This secret is the trading and crafting of poison. It is so sacred it can never be spoken of, not even when trading or crafting it. Instead, nestlings use niskant, a style of hand talk that uses no sound, only hand gestures. Though there are many types of poisons that nestlings make, only 4 were taught to them by Mordoon's secret. Okay, there's a whole section of them. Excellent. The first of these is scum frog goo, which puts its victims to sleep. However, if someone the size of a man takes 6 bolt wounds from it, they will die. Yeah, it do be like that. The second Mordoon poison is Snake Snapper, a deadly venom that can kill a man with a single crossbow bolt. It is also a bit hazardous for the Nistlings to harvest, as it must be milked from the fangs of living snakes, as Mordoon's secret dictates. The third Mordoon poison is Wyvern Goo, harvested from the tail spines of a living wyvern. 1 bolt is deadly enough to kill a giant. Oof. The final Mordoon poison is Perp Flurp. 1 bolt can kill a dragon. Where the Nistlings harvest Perp Flurp from is a secret, and something rarely done, as it requires many of them to go out and get it with only a few returning. Ooh, mysteries in the secret. When it comes to hunting, if it moves, it is probably meat, and thus meant to be eaten. Nistlings do not go out of their way to hunt people, but they do love a good raid. It is the liver of the fallen that is considered fair food, and is to be shared with the victorious. This includes the livers of Nistlings who have fallen. To leave a fallen Nistling's liver is an affront to that Nistling's soul, who, according to the Mordoon teachings, will then haunt the tribe who left its liver behind. Okay, got it. Who will then haunt the tribe who left its liver behind. Got it. Most recently, Nistlings have discovered that by placing thin windows of dark-coloured glass over their eyes, held into place with leather straps, they can protect their eyes from the light. Ah, they meant sunglasses. Very fancy. Can protect. 2 words. Okay. And there's the basic information. So, the anatomy. A Nistling is a sentient creature that walks on 2 legs. It has arms that end in hands with short, strong claws made for digging. Yeah, oops. Trust me, it happens. I can't spell, so I'm just like... Things just go horribly wrong. Their skulls are shaped like that of a short-snouted crocodile with little knobbly bone ridges above the eyes. Their bodies are covered in scales like that of a crocodile, but not as thick and heavy. From their backs spread a pair of leathery wings. Nistling colours range from rusty green to rusty brown, with splotches of near-black markings for camouflage. Unlike crocodiles, Nistlings are warm-blooded, and able to survive in all temperate regions, though they find extreme cold climates uncomfortable. Don't we all? A Nistling also has a tail nearly as long as the Nistling is tall. It flattens slightly to provide balance and maneuverability when running or flying. Traditional structure. So, Nistlings tend to live in tribes. Even if they leave their birth tribe, they form a new tribe amongst their friends. A tribe is led by a boss and his elite seconds called Barkers. Equal to a Barker is the Mudu and the Hoopla. A Mudu is a cleric, they're dedicated to their god Mordoon. A Hoopla is a clever Nistling who has learnt magic or alchemy, or, rarely, both. The bosses and Barkers tend to be males, as these ranks are determined by combat. Mudu tend to be females, and are often the diplomats of a tribe. They attain rank through study and earning respect over the years as they provide good wisdom to the tribe. Hooplas are equally male or female, and generally are those within the tribe who cannot compete well in combats, or have been denied training within the Mudu due to tribal politics. Interesting. This section's very interesting. Like, I do like that. I mean, I like all of it, but like, I like the tribal politics. It's fun stuff. And then the scientific name is the Sauronoid. Male Nistlings stand about 3 feet tall, females are about 2 3/4 feet tall. Height is the only visible difference between males and females, and the genitalia is tucked within a scaly cloaca. Yep. Yep. Average weight. Males are about 55 pounds, females about 30 pounds. Sensory capabilities. They can see exceedingly well in the darkness. So well, in fact, they can fly in utter darkness. With such sensitive dark sight, Nistlings shun daylight as it hurts their eyes. A flash of bright light will stun and momentarily blind them. Yeah, and then dietary habits, a Nistling eats meat of all kinds, from fish to insects to birds to animals. The eating of people is limited to eating the livers of those fallen in combat, including the livers of fellow Nistlings. Only during extremely harsh times will Nistlings eat more than the livers of people, including their own kind. Okay. Nistlings love forests or jungles where the leafy canopies shelter their eyes from daylight. If the forest or jungle has trees large enough that there is a hollow beneath the trunks big enough for a Nistling to dig, a lair will be made down into the ground. This will be their home hidden from spying eyes. If no such tree exists, they will dig a lair in a hill or ruin surrounded by the wildest growth in the area. This wild growth is often tended and nurtured along by the Nistlings. Okay. Nurtured along is a weird turn of phrase. That confused me for a second. I get what it's saying. It did confuse me for a second though. And then reproduction. Mating happens during the last 3 moons of the year. This is the only time female bodies can breed. 2 moons later, female lays her eggs in a leafy mound nest within a cave or prepared dark room. Females will tend to their nest without leaving it until the eggs hatch after an entire moon has passed. Then growth rate. Once a Nistling hatches, he or she can eat the same food as adults, as long as it's cut down to hatchling-sized pieces. For the first moon after hatching, the tiny Nistlings learn to walk. It needs another moon for them to learn to fly. Once a hatchling can fly, it joins the tribe. The hatchling will continue to grow up raised by the whole tribe. A Nistling grows from a hatchling to adult in 10 years and lives for about 80 years of age. Yeah, okay. That's longer than I thought they would. Not that I thought they would be very short-lived, but I didn't think 80 would be the amount that we were going for. Reminds me of my sci-fi species which evolved in a world with 3 suns, and developed a skin layer to protect their eyes. The downsides are on other planets that need special equipment to see in the normal light environment, or have really strong lights. Ah, interesting. Yeah, light is a very, very cool thing to play with in terms of, like, new species. One second. So that is the whole article. And I will hit the like on it for one. For 2, I think this big section here, it feels mostly like you've made a bunch of notes and you have actually written them, like you haven't done like what I do and just stream of conscious go bleh all over it. But it could possibly use a couple of maybe subheaders in it and like a little bit of organization. So like for instance, I would possibly put the whole bit about Mordune's secret under a header titled Mordune's Secret. Maybe either a H1 or maybe a H2. And so that way it kind of separates it out a little bit. Because at the moment it's a lot of text. And I mean, I'm a hypocrite. I write a lot of text. But because it's a bunch of different topics kind of all together, a couple of headings might make it feel a little more structured. So I would definitely put one for Mordune's Secret. I'd possibly put the bit about sunglasses in with the bit about crafting traps. I'm not sure. I guess I do understand why this is all together, because it's all about the stuff that they make. Maybe this should go somewhere else. The bit about hunting should go, because like this is all like the Mordoon, and there's about sunglasses and traps. Those are all related concepts about crafting. The hunting kind of is a bit jarring in that context, so maybe that should go somewhere else. Maybe it can go above it or below it as its own little bit. That kind of thing. Just a couple little rearrangings and subheaders, sort of thing. Ooh, this is the species in the WorldEmber article. Aha! Yes. I will read. I will read the sci-fi species. Ah, it's a short article too. I might have to add a third article showcase thing, because that's mostly meant for WorldEmber showcases. I might add one after, for the next hour. Which I can actually do decently quickly, actually, because I have an entire second page. My god. Don't run the stream there. Channel points. 9 rewards. I'm gonna just tweak that to say 3 this time. So that we can have another one later if someone wants to. Because part of it is the idea of like sharing WorldEmber articles, but I'm happy to have other articles show up too. And I mean, people can just post links. I don't have a link ban hammer on or anything. The bot doesn't yeet you for links. But like that was the idea. We'll see. So this is about the Krolls, who are an alien humanoid species. Their skin is a mixture of blue and purple colors. Males are darker and females are lighter. Krolls have a very militaristic society and are expansionist. They also are distrustful of towards other human races. Well, of course they are. They're expansionists. You don't trust them if you want to conquer them half the time. Krolls see pre-fast and light civilizations as nothing more than obstacles to be removed before colonization, while delaying them. Hold on a minute. While delaying with them, Krolls use the Cleansing Protocol, which is a total war scenario aimed at a fast victory over the primitives, subjugation, enslavement, and resettlement. Should be, while dealing with them. Okay. Okay, so, yeah. Probably put a full stop or a comma after colonization then. So, like, while dealing with them, Krolls use the Cleansing Protocol, which is a total war scenario aimed at a fast victory over the primitives, and then its steps are subjugation, enslavement, and resettlement. Krolls are the aliens that attacked Earth. How dare they? Their ideal environment is warm, dry, and very sunny with strong light. And then unique Krollan feature is thinner than the rest of the body's skin, covering their eyes. The purpose of it is to protect their eyes from too much sunlight. It is a result of the Krolls' homeworld being in a trinary star system. Because of the 3 suns, the amount of light was too big for any eye. The protective skin layer is necessary to prevent the whole species from going blind. The downside of having that protection is the need to sustain strong artificial lights in buildings and vehicles, because the Krolls are blind in a normal light environment. When they started to colonize other planets, they developed a device which is put on the head in front of their eyes. It emits exactly the right amount of light to make the wearer see normally in a specific environment. To be able to function in darkness or a place with less light, Krolls also have very well developed hearing, touch, and proprioception. Sense of movement and body position. In dark environment, they depend on senses to function. Gotcha. Hell yeah. I mean, I like fancy sci-fi alien race. I like sci-fi a lot. I just don't read it much. I don't read it enough. I don't do enough sci-fi stuff. I need to read more sci-fi. And welcome raiders. Ah, eyeballs. The light just appears. Welcome raiders. Welcome Siobhan. Welcome Pichu Puchu. Stay true! Hope you're all having a lovely and productive day. Oh, Dazzly, how do you change font size? Great question. It's called CSS. Oh, my eyeballs. Ah, God, it's so bright. Owie. Hold on. Let me find the CSS that I want. Because you will need CSS to make the font size bigger. I'm trying to think of which one I usually use. I usually use Big Fancy, which is, this is not going to show up well, is it? And then I do font size, and you pop that into your world CSS. You can change the font size, obviously. That's just what I have on my TU Amara one, and that will make it bigger. I need to change tabs before my eyeballs fall out. Oh, God. Hello, Laria! And hello, everybody. Hope you all had a lovely day. So we just read 2 articles, which is good. And now it's back to my article, I guess. Which is just attempting to write about that. Working on a big crystal that makes the magic happen. That's all it is. That's all of what that is. That is the entire article. It's just big crystal make the magic happen. Which is, you know, nothing wrong with a simple article. Because you can't, not all your articles can be like 2,000 words long. I don't think any of mine are, actually. But, like, for WorldEmber anyway. So some of them have to be small. Ah, yeah. That makes sense. Basically what you do, I need to... Oh, shit. I can't demonstrate on this. I can't demonstrate in Synergasia. What I need to do then is basically... Tiumara. It will take time to load. There we go. Okay. Basically what you need to do is you go into the config, the world settings config, and you go to styling, and then you basically just copy the CSS that I gave you into this section here, which is the presentation cascade style sheets area. And you just pop it in here, and hopefully it works. If it doesn't, holler in the CSS channel on Discord, and especially like some of the world themes can be a bit funky because they're all like coded by different people who have their own like quirks in how they code. We all do CSS differently. We all like format our stuff differently, use different selectors. Sometimes things break. Sometimes things work in one theme and break in another. So if it doesn't work, holler in the CSS channel and someone will fix that. No, Freeman do not have access to CSS styling, but Dazzlycat is using a world theme, which means they have to be a guild member, and so guild members can do CSS styling. But yes, Freeman do not get CSS or any of the world themes. They do not have access to that. Which is kind of a shame because the default style is a little fantasy-y. I think they had an idea at some point to provide a sci-fi theme for free, but that hasn't happened yet. I mean, bland is also the word, but it is a little fantasy theme. It's fairly simplistic, so it's not like impossible to work for a sci-fi theme. But it is kinda more in that direction because it's like parchment and stuff. So if you're not doing fantasy, it can feel a little eh. But yeah, oh well. If you've got CSS, you can do the fancy stuff. And then, you know, you spend many hours doing CSS. I've done, I think, 3 themes for this world, for TU Amara. Which isn't even the world that I'm currently working in. I need to go back to Synergasia. Because the article is in a different world. No. World themes are guild only. I'm pretty confident world themes are guild only. But I remember that there was a discussion about making 1 or 2 of them available for free, just to give a little more customization for Freeman, just because, like, again, fantasy themed, basic. But that has not happened. I don't know if it will happen because I'm not in that discussion. I just moderate the server. And if you're fantasy themed, it's great. It might have been different back in like the ye olden days of like 2017, but I came here in 2018, so I'm just repeating what I know. I've only been here for 2 years. I'm not Inner Sanctum, no. I'm actually not. Because I don't have that money. Ooh. I barely break even in a year if I only spend my WorldAnvil subscription for a Grandmaster level. And I'm venerable, so I get a discount. But you know, it's conversion. I don't have a job, so I'm not earning money. My subscription is paid for by, like, pocket money, which is pretty rough. So I'm not Inner Sanctum, no. I am only a wee Grandmaster. But I am a moderator, so, you know, you gotta go around. I think sometimes when Dimmy or Janet puts out the Inner Sanctum, like, coffee, like, because they have a coffee morning, right, where they, like, all, like, show up in a Zoom and, like, chat, sometimes they put the link in a place that I can actually get to. I don't think they intend to. I've never gone in, because it's usually at like 4 AM on like a Sunday, and I'm like, no, I'm going to bed. But I've thought about it, is the thing. I've thought about going in there, and then immediately leaving, because I'll feel guilty about it. Because I'm not Inner Sanctum, so I should not be part of the Inner Sanctum coffee morning. But sometimes the link isn't a place I can access. And I think about it for a moment. For longer than like a minute, I'll be like, do I go in? And I'm like, no. No, I don't go in. I can't even see the Inner Sanctum channel. Technically I can if I give myself the role, which I can do, but I don't go in there because I'm not supposed to. So the Inner Sanctum is off on the high mountain doing shenanigans. It does sound pretty cool. You get the same functions as everybody else, but you also get to chat and, you know, talk about like what features you need as the big users, etc. And I think it's pretty neat based on what I've heard about it. And, you know, I say most. The Inner Sanctum are cool people too. So, you know, hey, neat stuff. Okay, what is... I guess properties is probably what I'd put as this header, right? Properties. So, ARES art is... Have I described it before? I don't actually know if I have. And it's a glowing crystal. That's about all I've described of it. It could be described in the magic article though. Possibly. It's possibly in the magic article. Oh god, I can't read that. Oh shit. Oh no. Oh no. I need to do another CSS edit at some point. That's rough. Yeah, Sage does as well. They also get the coffee mornings. But the coffee mornings for Sage is about, like, monetization. I think that was the idea of the Sage meetups, is they basically talk about how to use WorldAnvil to, you know, for their business and stuff. Because Sage is, like, the business tier. I think. I'm not Sage either. I can't afford that. Freeman level limited. In what sense? Because, like, there was the closed alpha beta thing we had to actually sign up, and that was 2017. But that's, like, that's long ago. Now you can just have it. But less options. Oh, yeah, like, they did change a couple things with Freeman at some point. Initially, Freeman had unlimited articles. Like, unlimited articles, unlimited drafts. That was changed at some point because they found... I think it's obviously like a confluence of things, but because most of the people who use WorldAnvil do not pay for it. But one of the, I guess, incidents that sparked them introducing a limit, which is about 150 articles, 20 drafts or something. That limit was put in because Dimmy found a user, who was a Freeman user, who had like 5,000 articles, which I don't know how to express how absurd an amount 5,000 articles is. Like, it's a lot. Like, in terms of like big worlds, I think the only world remotely close is like Ethnos, which is like, I don't know, maybe 1,000. So it was a little... Not 500, 5,000. 5000. And they're a free user, right? And so part of the question for like someone who's running a website for like, we have to like to have subscriptions to keep the server running is that that user is using a lot of server space and they are not paying for any of it, right? And so at some point, the limit on the 175 articles and 20 drafts was brought in. But I think that's the only... Okay, there was another feature that got removed from Freeman, because when we brought in... When I say we, I wasn't involved. When they brought in the article limit, someone jokingly mentioned in the help channel that they could get around the article limit and the draft limit by using the notebook. Which is not something you should have said out loud. And so the notebook was removed for Freeman users. They do not have the notebook anymore, just because it was going to be used to circumvent the entire point of having an article and draft limit, and so that was taken out. But I think those are the only features that have been removed. For the most part, the Freeman feature set has remained fairly static. I think some things were actually trickled down. I think something about map layers got changed at some point, like recently. Like I think Freeman have unlimited map layers now or something. I don't remember. They've always been limited for space for picks, though. There's always been a space limit for picks. They've always had that. I don't think it's gotten any smaller either. I think it's always been like, what, 1 gig? You get like 1 gig as a Freeman? They've always had a limit. There's always been a, like, getting more storage has always been a perk of a guild membership. I think I get like 10 gig. I have like 10 gig of storage space. I get a lot of space. I can store a lot of flags and a lot of maps. It's great. I love it. But those are like the only things that have changed, like to add limits where there were not previously limits, was the thing about article amounts and notebook was removed. I think those are the only ones I can think of. You have 2 gigs of picks. Yeah, well, I'm also a venerable Grandmaster, which means I actually get double. So I think Grandmasters can get 5 gigs, but because I am venerable, I get 10. Because I was on the Patreon. I was a Patreon guild member back in the day, back in 2018. So I get a bonus. And you can't get venerable anymore, it's only people who had it, who win the Patreon. So I get 10. I get to be fancy. Which I think is just neat. Oh, your Pathfinder 2nd edition game you've been advertising all week has to be postponed. No. Oh, that sucks. Cause I think I remember seeing you mention at some point that sort of the time calculation got a bit funky with that, because it's so difficult to keep track of time zones. That sucks. It really sucks to postpone a game. Like it's just not, it's not great. Like I've been in a arena campaign. It's just a bunch of combat missions basically. We've been in an arena campaign since March or April-ish in my my uni tabletop club, and we're at level 19. Well, actually, no, we're level 20. We finished the level 19 encounter about a month ago, and then the GM goes, "We can't do the level 20 next week because I've got like exams and shit." It's like, "Yeah, no worries." So we postponed it because of exams, and then we just kept postponing it. And then on Monday at tabletop meet, one of the other people goes, "Yeah, we can't run that to level 20 mission on the Monday meetings because the GM has work." And we're all like, fuck. Because he wants everyone to show up for a big PvP encounter because we're all gonna fight each other. And we can't do it. We just can't have it. So we're kind of bummed. We're gonna have to figure something out for it, but it's postponed indefinitely now. And I'm like, oh. I was looking forward to my dwarf cleric getting one shot. Just getting sniped in the head because I roll a low initiative and just die in one shot. One turn, super dead. I'm like, hell yeah, buddy. I'm looking forward to it. I do have a strategy in place for helping somebody else win for the PvP encounter, but I was gonna get one shot. I was gonna love it, but I can't do it, so I'm waiting. I'm waiting for when the GM can run it, whenever we can find time for it. 100 meg for Freeman and a max limit of 2 meg per image. Yeah, something like that. I think I get an amount per image. Next week is Xmas. Yeah, Christmas. Ooh boy. Ooh boy. You're gonna someone else's, yeah. I have no idea how to use Fantasy Grounds, so that's, and also time zones. Cause it is gonna be one in the morning soon, so I'm just like, time zones don't work out for me ever. Australian, you know? It'd be like that. Yeah, this article. Barry's heart is... How big is it? Message asking if you could just place the player, still waiting for a reply. Interesting. I don't know how big that crystal is. Because that's not really a scale thing, it's just a picture of a diamond. Could mean anything. Not sure which character though. Oh no. Oh no. I also don't know how to use Pathfinder too, so. Or Pathfinder in general. So I know I can't do that. I just wounded. No, yeah, okay, so. I don't know how big it is. But it's big. Larger than any building or cave. Building or monument. Towering over the lake and nearby settlements. It is, I think I said lavender and lilac. Now in 40 minutes. That's 2 in the morning. Gross. 2 a.m. Gross. Lavender? Like a color. It's the color lavender. I guess. And then lilac. Kinda. GM would rather postpone. Yeah, that sucks. Hopefully they'll be able to run it soon then. Like, obviously not next week. Because, you know, Christmas. But hopefully, like, in the new year, you guys can find the time. Which should be good. Not fun of D&D and Pathfinder at the moment. Yeah, that does tend to happen. Yeah, actually, no, yeah, it does tend to happen. A lot of... I haven't played a whole lot of D&D because I basically only started this year because I joined a tabletop club at my uni. But the thing, it's just been, you know, combat. Oh, yeah, redemption, sorry! Oh, I completely spaced on that. Because we're in the middle of discussing something. Let me go grab that. Let me go grab that redemption and we'll read that. And then I will attempt to finish my crystal article. I'm so sorry for that delay. I completely spaced on that, I'm sorry. But yeah, I've mostly played D&D combat and it's fine. D&D combat's fine. It's not world shattering. You've been advertising it all week. Damn, that's rough. That sucks. Then it's gonna be like, well, that's fun. Okay, so let's read Siobhan's Right of Breeding article. Very sorry for that, for the delay on that. Okay, so the quote. I'm liking that stallion you have there, Derek. I'd be willing to help you clear more land for your fields in exchange for his stud services. What? You don't want any payment other than to breed with him? Well, he has fine lines and a great personality. Why wouldn't I? Well, he is just my plow horse. Wouldn't a filly such as yourself be interested in something better? I mean, I can arrange for you to be studded by the stallion next door. But that brute? He is so uncouth and temperamental. I wouldn't touch him with a 30-foot pole. No, your stallion would do me just fine. See yourself, Pirouette. We have a deal. Oh god, having to read so... Ooh, and thanks for the follow-a-thon. My arena campaign DM's decent. My other DMs have been better though. But they're all still the uni DMs. I'm also not good at role-playing, because I forgot how to do it after I turned, like, 14. So, oops. Okay, so this is negotiations for the right of breeding between Pirouette the Centaur and Derek of Hierigmach. Throughout history, it is believed by the humans that centaurs were the offsprings of a man and a horse. This is not true in all cultures. Shay and Craglem Reach hold to these beliefs. Whenever a centaur enters these lands, they have to be very careful not to draw attention to themselves, as the people of these lands will try to hunt them down and kill them for being an abomination. Thulmok and the kingdom of Hierigmach do not hold to these opinions. In fact, in Thulmok, the right of breeding is guaranteed for the mare, without the need to discuss it with any of the locals for the local equines. The right of breeding for the stallion, however, is a very rigorously negotiated ordeal. History. The rite of breeding goes back to the time of the end of the Unending War, when the centaurs were very nearly extinct. This was done to extend the genetic pool outside of the Fae. With their ability to converse with all equines, the studs are usually eager, but the centaurs understand that to the human, the animal in question is considered property, and thus there is usually a fee required for stud purposes. Before the centaur approaches the owner, they have already discussed the prospect with the target of their desires. Though this practice is applicable to all genders of centaurs, it is usually the mares who take the most advantage of it. There have been stallions who have taken a liking to human women and will request the right of breeding with them in exchange for their labor. Alright. When the terms are agreed upon, the mare or lady who is to be studded has intimate relationships with the stallion in question. This will continue until the mare lady is guaranteed to be with child. Oh, God. Golly gosh. Problematic situations. There have been a number of times throughout history where the right of breeding has been agreed upon and then reneged. This has caused the offended to dismiss the offender and never return, while also informing the other centaurs of their actions. When it has been a mare who has been offended, the stallion will usually follow her away from its owner, never to return. Ooh. Interesting. You need to decide whether it's right or right. Like, is it R-I-T-E or R-I-G-H-T? But I do like that. I like that there is a sort of low-key formalized system for, you know, it's almost like a dowry, but it's between a centaur and a horse, or a centaur and a human lady, as the case may be. I think is interesting. A couple of them, there's a right R-I-G-H-T here, there's an R-I-G-H-T here, there's an R-I-G-H-T here. There's a couple of them. Most of them have been R-I-G-H-T, actually. The only one that's R-I-T-E is the actual article title. At least on this that I loaded up of. And people have been discussing things. Hold on. Let's turn to the conversation. It's the second one. Yes, every day. You come back at very awkward times. Okay. So Javon had about 6 game sessions so far without any combat or dice rolling. Ooh, very nice. I'd like to try a game like that, but I worry that I'm not great at role-playing, so I'm just like... So I like having dice to fall back on for stuff. Setting can be lovely. I was in absolute love with Faerun until it was murdered in 4th edition, but it doesn't really matter how lovely the setting is if the DM only focuses on the dungeons. Yeah, absolutely. Like, if all you're getting is the combat and you're not really getting to explore the culture of places or any of the stuff that you find interesting in a setting, definitely can get boring. Definitely. Pretty sure your Pathfinder 2 campaign was a decent amount of combat. It's also about exploring the unknown and watching the entire settlement grow with them. Ooh. My schedule isn't changing for the holidays, because I don't, well, it might. I'm gonna leave these, so I usually stream Tuesdays, Saturdays, right? Next Saturday's stream is a bit up in the air at the moment, depending on how much anxiety Christmas Day causes me. But my schedule in general has not changed. My schedule is the same. I actually do need to edit it because I need to add in the Minecraft stream, which is on Sundays now. And that's why Larry is focusing on Numenera, when combat is secondary, and exploration is key. Absolutely. And then Shadowrun's all about combat, more precisely according to avoiding it. Right, yeah. I almost played Shadowrun once, but I had to leave. I was very upset. So I've never played Shadowrun, which annoys me, because I would like to play more, like, varied types of TTRPGs if I can. Because I find them interesting, even if I'm not good at them. Like, I had a thing where last week I found out that I've been neglecting to put the modifiers on all of my attacks. Because no one had told me to put modifiers on my attacks. in D&D 5e. And I was like, oh no. So I'm not good at them. Yeah, so this was a showcase day. It's further up in the chat. This was a showcase. I mean, you know me, Day. This is not going to be an article that I wrote, and that's not an insult. It is just a fact. Not keen on murder hoboing, but I do admit I like a bit of action in a game. It is a game, like a balance of fit story. Yeah, so having combat for the sake of combat is kind of boring, but if it has a purpose, like, then it's cool. Like, if there is an actual reason for it to happen, and if it is in service of, like, furthering a narrative, or furthering the general, like, theme, or vibe, or thrust of a campaign, I think combat can be good. And I mean, like, if you know that what you're getting into is going to be combat heavy, if you know that going in, I think that's good. Yeah, furthering the plot and stuff. Or just in general. Like, sometimes you don't have a specific, like, plot, but, like, a general, like, you have an objective. And if the combat is going to further the objective, whether it's as simple as, we want to save somebody, or we want to explore the world, or whatever, then it's, like, you know, good. But if it's just combat because fuck it, then it's kind of like, I think the sort of way that I would split it is, like, if you've been tasked by the Baron of a local town to go in and clear out some, like, Underdark, like, scouting parties that have invaded his mines, those combat encounters in that mine are furthering the narrative. They are part of what is pulling you forward, and that, you know, that's fine. You may not necessarily love the combat of 5e or whatever, but at least it has a purpose. Like, the point is to do that. And you can do it in different ways, and you know, it's cool stuff. The opposite would be if you are going from point A to point B and you get a random encounter with some random bandits who don't matter and will never show up or be mentioned again. I feel like that's the combat that gets very boring. And if it's a lot of just combat for combat's sake with no real point, it's just kind of like, really? I'm not saying that all encounters have to be meticulously planned, because of course not. That's kind of nonsense for a lot of GMs and a lot of players who will go off into whoop whoop at a moment's notice. If you give them the opportunity, they will just deviate from your carefully laid plans. But, like, some thought is nice. I guess. I don't know. I think is neat. That said, I don't hate D&D combat. That said, that further said, I feel like low-level combat is very boring. It only gets interesting at higher levels. It is extremely boring in, like, level, like, 1 to 4. It is very boring. Which is unfortunate, because a lot of the time, you're a level 1 to 4. And you're just like, I am so bored. Unless you're, like, a wizard. Like, spellcaster characters can be interesting the whole way through, because you have so many different, like, varied ways to approach the situation. If you are a fighter, you have fuck all. At least the way that I play, which is very mechanical. Because I'm, like, so new to D&D, I'm not gonna start doing weird shit like throwing a rope around a pillar and then running and using the momentum to, like, do some whack shit and come around and stab somebody. I'm just gonna run up and stab them. And maybe that's my fault, but because of that, a lot of classes are very boring early on when their tactical options are very limited. And then when you get to, like, level 4-ish and you start getting class features and, like, cool shit, that's when shit starts getting cool. So I'm just like, fuck yeah. That's the stuff. That's when it gets good. So, like, we did a one-shot in the Underdark, or we were trying to clear out Underdark shit from a cave, like a mining settlement. And we were, I think, level 7, and I was a paladin. And I mean, I didn't play that paladin super well. No, actually, no, I was a fighter. I was a guardian fighter or whatever. And it was pretty neat. I don't think I'd play a fighter again. I think fighters are generally pretty boring class at early levels. but it was a lot more fun than it had been playing that same character at level like 3. Because at least I had options for like defending people, and I had the like high elf feature of having a spell that I could use to throw at people, you know. So I was like, fuck yeah. I also bought caltrops and didn't use them, which was frustrating. I should have used those at some point, but I didn't have the opportunity to use my caltrops. Yeah, an oil flask and a fire spell. Didn't have an oil flask spell because I keep using pre-gens, which is my issue as well. Because I'm just so new to the game, I use pre-gens all the time. But like games can be good. Games can be good. It's just a matter of doing them well. Which is always the issue, isn't it? Oh, I need to open the right page. And oil lamp too, yeah. A fire breathing is not necessary for a dragon, I don't think. I don't think fire breathing is necessary. I know that like a lot of like fantasy will have some kind of like breath weapon, whether it be fire or ice or whatever. I don't think they're necessary. I'm trying to think of a specific example, but I honestly don't remember if the dragon in that book had fire breath or not. I don't think they did. I also can't remember what the book's called, so I'm not helpful. It was a book about like a Chinese dragon. I don't think Chinese dragons have fire breath. And even then that's a different type of dragon, because they're like, you know, they don't have wings and such. You can easily take those traits of not having fire breath and just put them on a big scaly lizard with wings. You know? You can just do that. It's fantasy. It's fine. Hello, RPG Dinosaur Bob! Good morning! Yay. Alright, back to the article. Oh god, I'm leaving a water circle on the table. God damn it. Stop it. Green dragons have a gas attack, black has acid, white has ice, blue has electricity. Yes! But aren't they all considered breath attacks? Or maybe that's just what my DM was calling them. Maybe that's just what he was calling them. They're all like a breath attack, but I don't think you need a breath attack to have a dragon. You know, a dragon is a very broad category of big lizard. That's basically just dragon, big lizard. Big ol' lizard. Sometimes has wings, not always. Not always has wings. Oh no, you missed the showcases. Yeah, well I mean we usually get like one an hour. That's the issue. I get blue and white muddled up. Yeah, I mean, I keep thinking blue is water, and white wouldn't be water. Yeah, I only do 2 showcases per stream. Because, I mean, I distract myself enough. I don't get a whole lot of writing done most streams anyway, but I figured I shouldn't make that even easier to do. I mean, I like to show people's off, and I like to read those articles, but I can't make that a whole stream, you know? I did up it to 3 this stream just because someone used the article showcase to share a non-WorldEmber article, and so I added an extra one, which is what Siobhan got. But yeah, I've already shared the 2. I've already showcased the like actual 2 articles this stream. Unfortunately. Yeah. Cause like if I leave it unlimited, there's that risk of like it's just all showcases, and part of the idea of the streams is that it forces me to actually do writing. So, ideally, some writing does occur. And some has occurred, to be clear. But, like, that's the idea, you know? I think it's bigger. Make it bigger. Yeah, boy. Ugh. The enclosed room is heating up. Ugh. I mean, still have 20 minutes. Woohoo! So, I was talking about its properties. I was googling colors. That's what I was doing. I was figuring out what color it is. It's like magenta? Yeah, it's kind of magenta-y, I think. Hold on. It's like a lilac and it's like a magenta. Fun errand stream with other people's articles. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm gonna spread the love. Please. Oh, hold on. And that's the magic article, right? So it is a pale lilac color. I think the option for 500 booty coins, so I took it. Hell yeah. Magenta shadows. And a bright glow. It's pale lilac color with magenta shadows and a bright glow. Looked up an advent calendar distraction article yesterday, but I like how it turned out. Nice! Very nice. I should actually do more of the advent calendar prompts, but I keep just not doing them. Because I'll have already rolled the dice that day, and I'm like, I will write about this article. And then the advent calendar comes out, and I'm like, oh. Oh. A completely different thing. And some of them I can't answer, like today's prompt about a frontier. I don't have one of those. There is not a frontier to Tiuamara, or to Utremoch. I don't have a frontier. So I'm just like, oops. Oopsie daisies. No, well, it kind of is, but not really. 3 kind of like people's articles and 1k for your own. Yeah. You're in problem with an important decision. Sapient dragons or wild animal dragons? Ooh. That's a good question. And I have funders for both, so what I'm gonna do to decide my answer is I'm gonna roll a d6, and odds will be sapient and evens will be wild animals. That'll be my vote. My vote goes to sapient dragons. That's what my vote is for. I have to use these dice for something. They're so shiny. These ones are the shiny ones. I do like these ones a lot. That's a well, no, D20 is a really dark one. I like the D12. Oh. It's all shiny. I don't remember which one this was. I think it was, I mean, it is tabletop loot, but I can't remember which set that was. But they're cute. I have a lot of cute dice and a lot of corner. I haven't built a dice. I need to build a dice tower out of cardboard. At some point. Most dragons are considered sapient, though there are some wild animal ones. Ambiguously sapient or barbarian dragons with rage. It could possibly be that people don't know they're sapient, and so they assume that dragons are wild animals, but actually they're sapient, but they don't talk. They can't communicate. I know in my setting they're sapient, but that doesn't preclude them from just, like, being assholes. And, you know, like, just doing shenanigans. They don't do it often, because they kind of understand that if they do wanton destruction, either humans will kill them, or one of the bigger dragons will kill them for being an asshole. But, like, they have done it. They've done some shenanigans before. But they're mostly just chill. My settings dragons are pretty chill. Except for the one. The one dragon isn't chill. Technically the two, but one of them's dead. The one that's still alive isn't chill. The one that's dead was not chill. That's why they're dead. And then the other ones are cool. The other ones don't care. The dragon riders, dragon taxes, it's great. We love it. Besides the name, build a monument, towering over the lake and nearby settlements. Is a pale lilac color with magenta shadows and a bright glow. It hovers about, how high above the lake? It's either like a meter above the lake or it's like 20. It's either a distance or nothing. It's kind of like a meter. I kind of like it being a very close hovering. About a meter above the surface of the lake. 3.33. Yeah? Isn't that just a meter? I'm pretty sure that's a meter. Call me wild. I think that's a meter. Time to start writing. Got 3 articles to write. 90 your past. How far you'll get today. We'll get at it. Woo! Articles! Woo! Surface of the lake. Was enough to be touched by acid rain. Find those. What's the difference between a meter and a yard, do you know? A yard. Well, a meter is a unit of measurement, but a yard is like the space in you, like a garden. I don't know how long a yard is. Because we don't use yards. If you ask me about a yard, I'm gonna assume you're talking about like a backyard. That's why it's called a backyard. Out in the yard. Yard is 3 feet. Right. Okay. So yeah, so about like 90 centimeters. Yeah. But 91.44. Well, yeah. Because feet are very convenient units of measurement, and they're very precise, and they're not at all confusing. Call me metric scum. Never figured out why feet are like that. I know how tall I am in feet. I'm 5'4". That is as far as it gets. I don't know anything else. I just don't know. Feet the measuring things by feet is confusing. 7 centimeters short of a meter. So basically just tiny meter. Small meter. Exactly. Whose feet decided this? I don't like it. Maybe 8. Closer to 8, I think. Like, I do get it. I do understand why feet are a unit of measurement, because it is way easier to just say, hey, you know, a foot long, and then like a pace long, you know, and a pace is basically a yard. A pace is basically a yard, you know? And so, like, I get it. I just don't like how imprecise it is. And then why is it 12? Yeah, why is it 12? Why is it 12 inches? Why isn't it 10? Because, base 12, baby. I guess. I don't know. Shenanigans. And welcome back to Hamstretch. We're talking about measurements now. I don't know why. Going beneath. Think clock. React to contact. How much does a yard measure your backyard? Exactly! I mean, in that case, depending on which way you measure it, a yard is either like 20 meters, or it's like 5. It's one of the two. I'm very much off. It's probably close to like 30 and 10. The oranges of inches, feet, and yards are originally independent, and they got standardized. Right. And then, yeah, why is 24 days and 24 hours instead of 20? Because of shenanigans. Probably I have to assume it's because the culture that invented hours used base 12 counting and not base 10. But I don't know that. I don't know that. Because there was metric hour for a bit, where the French were like, metric hour, baby! 20 hours in a day. Each hour is 100 minutes. Each minute is 100 seconds. And then everyone just went, France, stop it. We get it. You're anti-imperial. I get it. Stop it. Stop. Robespierre, get out of here. And then they stopped using metric hours. Yeah, I guess the Romans, yeah. I mean, they probably took it from somebody else. As is their wont. As the Romans are wont to do. Is wanton theft. Well, yes, the French had an empire, but this is like specific imperial. The specific monarchical imperialism. Because when they were an empire, they weren't they weren't monarchy. You said 26th day. Ah, inch, thumb span, foot, your foot, yard, step, or stride. Yeah, hell yeah. This is also called a pace. Right, good night, Day. Good night. There used to be paces, didn't it? Like, you know, 50 paces? That's basically a yard. But, like, more subjective. I guess. He standardized had big feet, hence 12 inches. There's got someone going on anger about Imperial is fine, metric is silly, because you can't measure 1.3 kilometers properly. You can't measure a third of a kilometer properly, but you can measure a third of a mile. Why would I need to have a third of a kilometer though? Like there is genuine arguments about like what fraction of a number is important to you. So like for instance English uses base 10. So, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so decimal basically makes it really easy to do halves, quarters, fifths, and kind of eighths. Eighths aren't too hard. But it can't really do thirds. It can't do sixths. It definitely can't do sevenths. It can't do ninths. You know? And so there are other bases that make other fractions easier. And it becomes a question of like what matters most. And in my opinion, half and quarter are pretty useful. Like half and quarter are pretty good. But like, I understand why a third is important, but you can't, can you half a mile? I guess you can half a mile. Can you quarter a mile? I guess you can. I'm talking full English specimen include rods, change, furlongs, stones. Oh, Jesus. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, God. Measurements, man. They're wild. We've had a lot of them. A quarter mile is 400 meters. Yeah, so I guess on miles are more easily divisible, which is fair enough. I can understand why that matters. I get it. Like it makes sense. I'm just petty. I like 10. I like 10. And I don't really need a third to be that precise. Like you don't often need to be that precise. And if you need to be, there are ways to be precise. Most of the time estimates are fine. And so if you know you want to measure a third of a kilometer, you can measure it out to 333 meters and then add about another 30 centimeters and go, that's about it. Maybe add another 4 and go, that's it. And then you roll with it. The Brits still use stone as measurement. I think Australia technically still uses stone exclusively for measuring like infants. If memory serves. I couldn't tell you what kind of measurement, like what numbers mean, because I don't know how much a stone is. It's not huge, I don't think. But admittedly, then again, I probably didn't weigh a whole lot as a teeny child. But I think we still use stone for babies sometimes. I think I was measured in stone. I think my brother is measured in stone. I don't think anyone younger than me, I don't know if people younger than me would be though. So like Zoomers mostly don't. I don't think. Yeah. It's a bit arrogant. Like you know, it depends, you know? These shenanigans. If you can measure precise, it doesn't matter. It's whatever. As long as you can get the point across, it doesn't matter. It's the same kind of argument for, like, language and stuff. Is that, you know, this language isn't grammatical or whatever. And it's like, if you can understand what I'm trying to tell you, then it does not matter. If my point can be got across, it's fine. So if you are talking to someone and you use a yard or foot measurement and they know what you mean, then it's cool. If they use a measurement and you don't know what they mean, if you cannot communicate how long or far you need them to go or do or something, then that's useless. But it does kind of depend. A 400-yard running track. That's less than my running track. My running track is 400 meters. The hell? Y'all are cheating. That's not fair. 400 yards is less than 400 meters. How dare you? That's rude. I feel cheated. I had to run a bunch of 400 meters as a kid. As I had to. I was mostly there voluntarily. It took me like a full minute to do every time. I hate it. But like, I had to do 400 meters. I could do 400 yards. That's like 300s. That's doable. Bruh, that's like... Ugh, I'm crushed. I'm devastated. I could do 360. I could do 360 meters. I mean, I used to be able to do 1500. I used to be able to do 3K. Ugh. Once upon a long while, I used to be able to run 3 kilometers. That does not happen anymore. I don't do that. I can walk 3K just fine, but running it, no thanks. Before US running field switched to metric, ran 100, 220, 440, 880, and a mile on a 400-yard track. Why? Because we're Americans. Nor does it sway in the breeze. Oh god. 5 to 10k runs, that's too damn much. Like, I did 3k because I did cross country. And that was a nightmare. Like, I did not like doing cross country. Mostly because it was in, like, the middle of winter. It's like 9 in the morning. It is like 10 degrees Celsius. And I'm dying. Awful. Because country sucked. Like, I was decent at it. At my primary school, I was the second best long distance runner in the entire school. Or at least amongst, like... I guess, like, amongst the girls? You know, like, I was the second best in the, like, that division of, like, the girls running. There was, like, one girl who was better than me. I was the second best in the entire primary school. But my primary school also had, like, 200 people in it. And was shit. So that didn't mean anything. I got to, like, high school and went, oh, everyone else is actually good at sports? Oh. Fuck. And then I stopped being good at sports. I was good at sports for, like, 7 years. And then I got to high school and went, never mind. Never mind, I'm not actually good at sports. In Heroes 01, we had to be different. Starkington uses cloudstone chains to make their islands block off enemies too expensive. Yeah. Yeah, reaction to girls. It's like, girls. By default. By default, I have to count as that for that specific circumstance. But I was one of the best girls at long distance and sports in general in primary school. And then got to high school, that stopped happening, and then I stopped being a girl and being good at sport. Is how that works. That's the timeline. It's great. You get me started a week starting on Sundays. Hey, well, actually, no, I won't defend that. I only use week starting on Sunday as a display system. Because it means that Sunday is the end of the week, but I can see the upcoming week. I use Sunday purely for display purposes. Sunday is the end of the week. I swear. Yeah, same as us on defense. Exactly. We get it. Oh god, it's 1 in the morning. I can go for a bit longer, I guess. Because I think this article is basically nearly done. But I can just finish it during Greg's stream. That's not an issue. And it's not long, which is nice. It's only 460 words. It'll be about 600 when it's done, I think. Because after this point, it becomes about magic. Where it's like, hey, it doesn't move, it just floats there. It just chills the hell out. That's basically it. So, do we... Easter Sunday, church that one too. Yeah. Like, for religious purposes, I can understand why it would be first. That's it, though. And since I'm not Christian, I'm just like, no strong opinions. No firm opinion one way or the other. It's neat. Alright, good night, Siobhan. Have a nice nap. The WorldAnvil stream, which is at like 6 in the morning, so I don't go there anymore. My sleep schedule's bad enough without staying up until 6 AM on purpose. So I don't go to the WorldAnvil streams much. Well, it is 1 AM, so I guess it is time for the stream to go. So, what we will do... Oh, I keep forgetting it's over there now. It's over there now. What we will do is I'll leave it on something that looks nice. There we go. Elliot, oh no. Yeah, it looks nice. It was a Pope, yes. Pope Gregory the something. 6th? Sure. That's about as far as it gets. Raid. Speaking of Gregory. That's unfair. So since it is 1 AM my time, and I've streamed for 2 hours, we've had a delightful chat about measurements and units of time and such, and I did get some world building done, I promise. And we did showcases. Had a good time. It is now time to head off and raid Ryder Greg. We have a raid call, and that is... Spell it incorrectly / properly, please. I can type. That is... Get ready. We have a fiery toast, and I still have not made the toast icon because I'm lazy. Most places Sundays to the end of the week. Exactly, right? Most places end of the week. And you can also like you can choose to unlock the emote and you can change it. You can modify. You can add thing. I have a Christmas toast. The toast is now Christmas. It's incredible. So yeah, that's the raid call, that's the emote. Thank you all so much for coming. I hope you all had a lovely day. I'm still getting used to the 2 monitor setup, so I keep looking at myself instead of at the camera. I'm sorry for that, but I've always been bad at that. I hope you all have a lovely day and that you get like either WorldEmber articles done or chores done or whatever you want to get done, you're able to get done, and you have a nice time doing it. Everyone's left already because I was too slow on the raid.